The bulb didn't glow. It hummed. That was the first sign something was wrong. No light, no warmth, just a low, constant vibration behind the glass like a wasp trapped inside. I found it in the attic of the old rental house, a single soot-black bulb screwed into the center socket, thick with dust. When I flipped the switch, I expected silence. Instead, the shadows woke up, not flickering, not stretching, moving, like they'd been asleep, and the bulb was their sunrise. At first, I thought it was just my eyes adjusting, but the walls didn't darken. They filled every corner, every surface soaked in a thick, velvety black that shouldn't have been possible. It was nighttime outside, no windows open, no moon, but the shadows began to grow longer, thicker. They blossomed. I should have turned it off, but I didn't. I watched. Because in the dark, I saw something I'd never noticed before myself. Not a reflection, a silhouette. Not shaped like me exactly, but familiar in posture. My shadow stood half a step to the left, and it was doing something I wasn't, tilting its head, raising its hand, like it had a question. Then it tapped the wall. I took a step back. The humming grew louder. I reached for the switch. It wouldn't budge. Fused, sealed. The bulb was part of the house now, or the house was part of it. The air grew colder, not from lack of heat, but from certainty. Like the room was learning something it couldn't unlearn. The shadows deepened, becoming more than shapes, depths, holes in the geometry of the room, angles that didn't make sense, places your eyes could slip into and never climb back out. I should mention, I moved in alone, but the attic floor creaked again, and the bulb's hum changed, subtly, a different pitch, like someone was answering it. I turned around. There was a second shadow now, not mine, not shaped like me. This one was smaller, child-sized. Its limbs were too long, its hands flat against the floor, like it had just crawled in. No source, no body, just a cast absence, as if the bulb was remembering someone who had once died in that room and bringing their echo back. I backed toward the ladder, but the shadows pooled around my feet. Not grabbing, suggesting. That's when I realized the light bulb didn't cast darkness, it revealed it. All the usual light in the world, all the noise and colors and distractions, that's the lie. That's the mask we wear to protect our minds. The bulb wasn't showing me anything new. It was showing me what had always been there. I dropped to my knees, covered my face. But in the blackness behind my eyelids, I saw more shadows. Some shaped like people, some like events, memories that didn't belong to me, echoes of things that hadn't happened yet, and one word, whispered softly in the vibration of the bulb: understand. I don't know how long I stayed up there. When I finally managed to crawl down, the house was different. Not visibly, not structurally, but spiritually. Every room felt too aware. The kitchen didn't echo properly. The bathroom mirror showed expressions that didn't match my face. The hallway light bulbs buzzed in short bursts, Morse code I couldn't translate. I tried replacing the attic bulb with a normal one. It wouldn't come out. Pliers bent, gloves tore. Even when I turned off the breaker, it stayed on. Just that endless low vibration. And every night it grew louder. By the third day, I stopped sleeping. Not because I couldn't, because I didn't want to close my eyes. The things I saw behind my lids were darker than the attic. Rooms I didn't recognize. People I hadn't met, but who knew me. One woman in particular, standing beneath a burned tree. Mouth full of wires, eyes like dead bulbs. Every time I dreamed, she got closer. One morning, I woke with soot on my hands. Another morning, the light switch in my bedroom had melted into the wall. I didn't tell anyone, because no one who hadn't stood under that bulb could ever understand. Until the neighbor came over. She knocked on my door with a smile and a box of store-bought cookies, said her name was Grace, that she'd seen the moving van, figured she'd welcome me. She stopped smiling when she stepped into the hallway. Her eyes lifted to the attic door. She didn't speak again, just turned around and left. The cookies stayed on the floor. I opened the box 2 hours later. Each cookie was burned black, still in the sealed plastic. That night the shadows spoke again. Only one word, over and over, remember. I don't think the bulb is evil. I think it's informational, a kind of awareness trapped in filament. Something ancient, or alien, or maybe just lost. The universe's last thought, compressed into glass and socket, and left in the attic of a stranger's home. The darker it gets, the more I see, and I'm starting to suspect it wants me to go deeper. The shadows started following me. Not metaphorically, not like guilt or memory. I mean literally, as in they left the attic, first in subtle ways. A flicker in the kitchen corner, a silhouette across the hallway that didn't match mine. Then more blatant. They began moving independently, stretching ahead of me instead of behind, bending where they shouldn't, showing me angles that didn't exist. The attic door stayed shut, but the bulb never stopped humming. Its sound changed with the time of day, low and warm at dawn, sharp and metallic at midnight. It vibrated in patterns I couldn't map, but began to understand, like hearing a foreign language and slowly learning that not everything needs words to speak. I stopped using lights in the rest of the house, not by choice. Every bulb I replaced shorted out within hours. Every flashlight crackled and died. Only the attic bulb stayed alive. Or maybe it was life now. Every evening I'd find myself standing at the foot of the attic ladder, unsure how I got there. No memory of walking, just the itch beneath my skin that something upstairs was calling, not in a voice, but in a knowing. By the 5th day, I noticed the reflection in the bathroom mirror no longer matched me. It wasn't reversed. It was delayed. My reflection would lag behind. Then it started blinking when I didn't, scratching its arms when mine were still, grinning. The attic shadows didn't just move now, they learned. One night I found them arranging themselves, not randomly, into patterns. On the walls, under the stairs, inside drawers. I'd walk into the kitchen and see 7 long shadows spread like ribs across the ceiling. I'd step into the hall and find a lattice of spidery streaks that mirrored a language I couldn't read, but understood anyway. The message was always the same. Then you're not in the light, you're in the lie. That phrase kept reappearing, written in dust, whispers from the humming bulb, scratched into my phone's lock screen, even when it was powered off. I googled the bulb. Of course nothing came up. No model number, no manufacturer, just obscure forums talking about shadow-activated cognition phenomena, fringe psych theories about low-light exposure and interdimensional perception. Most posts ended in dead links. One username stood out. Darkwatcher1313, he'd posted 4 years ago about a similar bulb. Same description, black glass, no heat, no light, just shadow. His final post read, "And the trick isn't that it shows you the truth. The trick is that you think you ever saw the truth before. And then nothing, no profile, no trace." That night I returned to the attic. The bulb didn't hum when I opened the door this time. It breathed, a deep, low inhale, like the room had lungs now. The shadows didn't wait for me. They stood. Yes, stood. 3-dimensional silhouettes, still made of absence, but with weight. Their heads tilted toward me, curious. One reached out, not aggressively, just touched my shoulder. I didn't flinch, because in that moment I realized I was already a shadow. I didn't cast one anymore, anywhere, not under moonlight, not in the attic, not even under the bulb itself. I checked the mirror. I wasn't there. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a flashlight, flicked it on, and nothing happened. Not because it was dead, because it didn't matter anymore. The attic bulb wasn't replacing light, it was redefining it. Light wasn't brightness, it was awareness. And now, I saw too much. The ceiling peeled back like wet paper. The floor split along seams I'd never noticed. Not physically, but perceptually, like the whole house had been a story I agreed to believe in, and now that agreement was void. The shadows moved aside, revealing what was underneath, a spiral staircase that led down, deeper than the house should have allowed, made not of wood or stone, but absence. A tunnel built of space that shouldn't exist. I didn't question it. I walked. Each step throbbed under my foot, like it remembered being part of me before I touched it. I don't know how long I descended. Time doesn't pass the same way in shadow. Eventually, I reached a room, circular, walls made of glass, but not reflective. Instead, the walls showed versions of me, of this house, of the attic. Each window a separate universe where things had gone differently. In one, I saw myself break the bulb. In another, I saw myself leave. In another, I never moved in at all. And in the center of the room, the bulb, floating, rotating slowly, no cord, no socket, just presence. It pulsed, and then it spoke. Not aloud. Inside me, you are the observer. You are the shadow you feared. The light was a cage, and I understood. The bulb didn't create the darkness. It was the exit sign out of a false world. I touched it, and every version of myself blinked, except one, the one in the mirror, the one who never stopped smiling. There's no light anymore, not in the way we understand it. Not brightness, not color, not contrast, just comprehension. That's what the bulb gave me, not illumination, revelation. I exist now in a place just beside everything else, a slit in the perception between here and not here. I don't eat, I don't sleep, I don't cast a shadow, but I watch them. They walk through their lives believing light keeps them safe, that shadows are byproducts, but I know now, shadows are not the result of light. They are what's left when light fails to overwrite. The world is not made of matter, it's made of agreements, quiet assumptions. Objects are just where shared attention has settled. Language, memory, identity, these are just patterns held still by habit. The bulb broke the habit. It let me see the space between, not in symbols, not in hallucinations, but directly. I saw the thread that holds time together, the skeletal lattice behind every chair, floorboard, and name. I saw people's shapes shift as they lied to themselves. I saw absence coil around secrets and curl under their skin like waiting vines. The bulb is no longer in the attic. It's in me. I carry it like a second spine, buzzing, humming, alive. I don't flip switches anymore. I don't blink. When I walk into a room, the shadows turn toward me, not like they're afraid, like they remember. Because I was once one of them. I think maybe I still am. There are others here, scattered across this liminal net. People who saw the bulb and didn't look away. Some float, some speak in vibrations, some write things no one else can read. One of them told me a story about a library built in the dark, where every book has only one page, and every page is just your name, written the way something else remembers you. I've never found that library, but I've seen the books. I'm part of them now. Sometimes I reach out. I try to speak to people still inside the light. They don't hear me, but they feel me. Goosebumps, flickering bulbs, the moment you turn off the lights and sprint to bed, not because you're scared of the dark, but because you know it sees you back. That's me. That's what I've become. The observer, the thing behind the filament, the shadow cast when no light is present. But still, sometimes, I wonder what I used to be. I try to remember my name, my house, the switch I flipped, the voice that called to me from the attic. But those memories are gone now, not erased. Translated. They no longer belong to a person. They belong to a concept. I am not Daniel. I am not alive. I am not dead. I am the thing you feel in the room when the light bulb burns out and your hand hesitates to reach for a new one. I am the reason shadows don't always match. I am the answer to the question you ask in your head but never out loud. What would I see if the dark finally looked back? I saw it, and now I am it, and I'm still humming. Somewhere near your ceiling,